Ready, set.
Here we go. Thank you guys for joining us. We got the podcast, Faithless Fitness episode, all focused on running. So if you don't want to know about running, you're going to have to jump off. But if you want to hear about running, we got John. John, can I call you a run expert? Is that okay?
Oh gosh. Lord help me. I wouldn't consider myself a run expert, but I would say I'm very knowledgeable in the sport.
Yeah, yeah, very knowledgeable, very good runner. You've run the Boston Marathon. You even coached collegiately as well as ran collegiately. Is that right?
Didn't coach collegiately, but I
Okay.
did run collegiately. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then we got Liz joining us, an awesome runner herself, I hear. She's learning and growing, and she's getting ready for a run in a week. Is it a week away?
Next week. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Probably, maybe by the time this is out, you will have had run, and maybe we can have you on again and you can tell us how it went. That would be cool.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I was laughing. I was telling Joe, my husband, at the beginning, 4th of July, that's when the run was. I got a medal and it's hanging up over there. I was like, should I just show up with my medal? He
Yeah.
goes, yeah, why not? Go get one of your race shirts too.
That's cool. Oh man. Yeah. Dang, I think I heard too, like, was Joe like popping the screen a little bit ago and I missed it?
Like right at the beginning.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I missed it. Okay, maybe I can. Is he still going to be in the house by the time we get done with this, do you think? Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah.
Possibly. Okay. Maybe I can get a chance to see him. I've talked to him a couple times, like on the phone, but I haven't seen Joe Hodel for probably years. But yeah, I miss him.
Yeah, probably since you left, since you moved.
Pretty well. I did come back for Parker Haley's wedding,
Okay.
and I saw you
Oh,
guys
yes.
then.
We would have seen
Yeah,
you there.
yeah. But that was like 3, I don't know, 3 years ago. I don't know.
I think they got married just before us. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
3 years.
Okay. Yeah, so much has happened since I left the Quad Cities, which is where the Bix is, which, by the way, for those who don't know, can you guys tell us what is this run you're going to be doing, Liz?
Yeah, so the Bix 7, this is its 51st year in the Quad Cities, which is it's Quad Cities, but there's more than 4 main cities, kind of. But it starts downtown Davenport. In the very beginning of it, you go straight up a very big hill. So that to me, as someone who's never run it before, is probably the most terrifying part,
Yep.
because hills are intimidating, especially when it's right there at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's a 7-mile run up this hill through some different neighborhoods in Davenport, and then there's a turnaround point, and then you basically run the same course, just on the other side of the road. From what I hear, majority of the course, there's people up and down on all sides of the street. I've heard there's slip and slides. I've heard people have bench presses for you to do.
I've never saw that, but yeah, yeah.
There's DJs, there's sprinklers. I don't know. It sounds like it's just a big fun
Yeah.
party too.
Yep.
But they also have like the elite runners at the beginning. Then they have like the normal person runners that try to beat the elite. And then it sounds like they also do different scholarships for high school students as well to like be a part of like the elite runner stuff. There's a kids Bix. It's kind of just like a whole
Oh, yeah.
weekend thing.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it's the 51st one.
Wow. That's crazy.
I've watched it one time, just because I was ever running it. It's at the end of July, so it's really, really hot. It starts at 7:30, so I
Yeah.
did not want to get up. I didn't want to be out in the heat, so I was like,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just being from the Quad Cities, it was like, I feel like I need to do this race. If I'm going to do any kind of race, I need to do the Big 7. And also, I didn't realize that it was 7 miles. I thought it was like 7 kilometers.
Yeah.
So it was like just further than a 5K.
Yeah.
But no, 7 miles.
Yep.
So.
Wow. So you found that out after you signed up?
I think,
Oh no.
or at least made the realization of it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
And I've
yeah,
never
after you had
ran
already
7
committed.
miles.
Whoa, wow. Dang. Okay. Yeah. I've run the Bix twice. John, have you
Okay.
run the Bix before?
Yes, just once though.
Yeah. What year did you run?
Last year.
Oh, that's right. That was your first year. Yeah. Wow.
That was the first one.
And you're doing it again too with Liz.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, John will be miles ahead of me, but
Hey, we'll see. I don't know. John is very fast. That's true, man. But no, that's good. And Josiah's going to be there too, right?
is he?
That's the
I
hope.
think,
I know he mentioned that he'd like to run it. We'll
yeah,
see
I think he
though.
signed up.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And then let's see. You guys, did you just yesterday do like the practice picks run, or recently, or 2 weeks ago, like a week or so ago, right?
No, that was
Picks
just,
at 6.
part of, oh, I was going to do that on Thursday,
Okay.
but just with life with the baby, it just didn't work out. So
Right on.
I did my run in the morning
Nice.
instead of, yeah.
That's cool. But you have have you run the course at all?
I've not. I've driven the
Okay.
course.
Okay. Nice.
I've thought about going over there and running it, but I get just so also I feel like this is probably different than what most people would do when they start running is I guess training wise, I run with a stroller. So I'm not just training
Nice.
by myself. I'm
Wow.
pushing a stroller, at least at the moment Nora's 20-ish pounds. So
Oh wow.
the stroller is light for a stroller, but I mean, it's probably still
Yeah.
about 5 pounds plus however much she weighs. So, just the ease of being at our house and running around the neighborhood. I've
Yeah.
gone to the riverfront a few different times, but even just the logistics and timing of that and what it looks like, we usually run my neighborhood.
Wow. Dang, that's cool. Okay, so that you talked about training. I want to ask about training. Before you do that, I had like something I remembered when you talked about the slip and slide. So the first time I ran it, I was like I don't know, I was at the point where you had like you go up the hill and then you go down and there's like eventually you kind of make your way back and you're gonna basically go back and have your like final downhill and come around the corner and be done. So I don't know, I think that's probably like a mile and a half left or something like that. And so I was starting to feel it. And like kind of had that like stomach feeling too, and just the heat on me and all that. And then this guy like just runs past me in like a tutu and just like he's like woo, and he just like slides on the slip and slide like head first, like hits the ground so hard, comes up, grabs someone just like in the random crowd just like hands him a beer and he just shotguns the beer and then like keeps going. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? You know what I mean? I was just like, this is the craziest run. Like
I know.
the dude was very fit and
Oh
just
my
having a good
gosh.
time. I was like,
See,
all right.
not that I want to be shotgunning beers, but I was actually just telling Joe this. I was like, I'm on this fine line of like, I want to run it to see all of my training come to fruition, but at the same time, like I still want to stop and enjoy some of those things, like this slip and slide and whatever else is there. So I don't know. I'm probably going to stop and do some of that, but. So I
that's
don't
cool.
know if my time will be a true time. I also just want to complete
Oh my
it.
gosh.
So
I like that. I like your
sorry,
mentality.
John.
The coach in me is like, no, I want to see your progress.
Maybe a different time. Oh, that's funny. That's awesome. I love that
Oh my
mentality.
gosh.
Okay, so talking about training, before we even get into training, and John, were you gonna say something?
Yes, yeah, and I was just gonna say, speaking on training, Liz, you actually reached out to me one day, was like, hey, can you come up with a plan for me for the Bix? And I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. And got to know a little bit about your athletic history and where you're at with running and just having a kid as well. So definitely want to get into like your mindset of wanting to run the Bix and also like, yeah, what's going on in those thoughts to want to train for something that like as challenging as I know at the time you said like 4 mile race, but 7 mile race.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So running specifically wasn't like at the top of my list of something that I wanted to do just because it is hard. It takes a lot of discipline, and anybody that has or does run know that it's just like the physicality, like the hard part of being the physical part of it is definitely there. but the mental part is even worse. Like, I remember after one of my runs, I think it was a 3 or 4 mile run, I was like, I hadn't stopped. I felt really good about it. And then I just started getting in my head about something really stupid that Joe wasn't doing, which didn't make any sense whatsoever. But it was just me getting my head about stuff. And all of a sudden, my breathing just started going off. And it was almost like I started hyperventilating. And I'm not someone that has like a lot of anxiety or, what are they called?
Panic attacks.
I guess, thank you. Panic attacks, like where you do start hyperventilating. But it was just this mental thing. And then I just had to like completely stop, reset myself. And even in that moment too, it was like, okay, God, this is not who I am. Let me put on a different worship song that I know is going to get me pumped back up again about who you are. And like, I just had to, again, just stop and completely reset. But it was just crazy that in that moment, it didn't even have anything to do with running. I just got into my head about something, and then breathing and how it was running just went completely out of whack. And so, just like, what do you do in those moments? And I mean, that totally translates into just regular life things. Like Nora getting upset with me that I took the car keys from her, and she starts screaming and throwing a hissy fit. Like, okay, am I going to yell at you, or am I going to take a breath and just ride this out? So there's a lot of things like that I feel like have played from running and dealing with it to this translates into like real life moments.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you one thing you said about like turn on a different worship song. Can you unpack that a little bit more? What that meant?
Yeah. So that's actually something on my list of, I guess, either wins or lessons. I feel like it kind of falls under both. But again, in general in life, but this we're specifically talking about running or working out. I think it's very important like what you're listening to. A lot of times I default towards music. Sometimes I've done podcasts, sometimes I've done audiobooks, but a lot of times I default towards music. And I really like Christian rap specifically just because it's always got that fun beat. And right now my favorite go-to is Never Fold by Coop. I don't know, just something about it just gets me hype and gets me going. It was like what I said, I had to stop and change the song. I ended up needing to change it to a worship song. I can't remember which one it was. But even just the style of music shift, the focus of the music, like I know you can definitely worship during rap songs, but to even just like the feeling that you get inside, it was just more of a calming song, and I needed that for my breathing.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, I think there have been times I like fantasy books, so I was listening to a fantasy book, and even just the way that I ran during that, just my pace, my breathing, my mindset, whatever, was not as, I don't know, focused, not, I was slower. I felt more sluggish, just honestly heavy. Like my body just felt heavy versus when I do listen to Christian content, I'll just say, whether it's, music, podcast, whatever. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I love that. We'll have to talk about fantasy books sometimes too, because so I just got done studying like online for a ministry track, and so I can go back to reading non school things, and I want to get back into fantasy because I've been doing so much like nonfiction. So I'm ready to go back into the fiction world. So I'll get some recommendations from you. Okay. But going back to like your motivations, so one thing I heard so far is like it was like a big part of it was like mental shift and how running like played a role in that. Is that right? Yeah.
Some of it. So like kind of like why I got started running.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, running probably wouldn't have been my workout of choice necessarily. I probably would have preferred doing like lifting or like body weight, like Pilates type working out or a mixture of both.
Nice.
But honest, a lot of it comes back to motherhood. And, at least at the time, March, April timeframe, when I was feeling like I was ready to get back into doing something, Nora was still and still is waking up 1 or 2 times a night. And I nurse. So even though Joe would be happy to get up with her, she doesn't want him. So it's me that's getting up. So, just kind of lack of sleep, but you function through it. And I couldn't really ever count on when she didn't consistently wake up at 6:30 every morning. So I knew I could get up at 5 o'clock, do whatever, get it done, and she's going to wake up. Like, she would be waking up during that time. So that just wasn't consistent with working. And also, I bring Nora to work with me. So there's also, which is great.
Wow.
So then when she's down at her naps, that's when I can really focus on work. So it's not like I can put her down for a nap and go work out. And then when she goes down to sleep between 7 and 8, I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. So it's kind of like, okay, what can I do within this sweet spot between 3 and 4 when she's awake, where I'm not trying to find care, where I have to ask grandma, dad's at work. I just wouldn't feel comfortable yet putting her, I know the Y just down the street, they've got a kids area. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting her in their childcare, just personal stuff, whatever.
Sure.
So it's well, she loves being outside. She doesn't mind being in the stroller. So I guess let's run.
I see. Okay.
Let's just do this.
Yeah. So it came out of necessity, really. You knew you wanted to exercise, and so you just picked the best one for your situation.
Yeah. And
Wow.
we don't really have a home gym. If we did, that may have been a little bit different, and even just the cost of investing in a home gym. So yeah, really, really just kind of out of necessity. So
Yeah. What's work for you? Do you work remotely or something like that?
No. So Nora was born in May, and then I went back to work after I think 3 months. I got about 16 weeks of maternity leave.
Nice.
Went back part-time at 30 hours, and Nora was in daycare during that time, which was really hard for me. I was I would love to be a stay-at-home mom, but just financially that didn't work out, or whatever. We were just praying about it. Then a friend, him and his brother own a business, and him and Joe were having a conversation, and just through it, he was asking how we were doing. So I went and interviewed with them. So I go into an office. It's just outside of town here, but they do sports turf. So they install either synthetic turf or sod on city, all levels of school up to professional fields.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool. They're the only, at least external turf company that I'm aware of that goes and does any rework on the Cardinals or the Chiefs. I know there's a local high school that we're completely redoing, some elementary, middle, and high, all different types of fields. So, but I'm the office manager there. A lot of times it's really just myself and one other gal that does payroll in the office. But the 2 owners, they have kids. One of them has a little girl that's a month older than Nora. So very much in the same season of life. I literally could not have even asked God for something better. They cleared out a storage room. That's Nora's room. So we have a changing table, a rocking chair, her little crib thing is set up. She's got toys everywhere. I mean, I could not ask for anything better. So,
Wow.
yes, big blessing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Dang.
So,
Man, John,
yeah, I know you're about to ask. Yes, I do have questions.
I can tell. Go on.
So you're talking a little bit about running on your own, and I've heard from a little bird that you do some TikToks, some running TikToks, and you're in some communities now. Like, I want to hear about these running communities that you're involved in and how it's encouraged you. And I don't know anything about them because I deleted my TikTok, but yeah, like that, I think one community is needed. It's a beautiful thing for encouragement, accountability, all sorts of reasons. And I love the fact that you are in a running community. Talk about it.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I would just say like RunTok is like the community. I feel like there's people like myself. So I guess to put it out there, my average pace is like 13 minutes a mile. So like if you're asking a collegiate runner or an Olympic runner, that is I'm slow. I am a slow runner. But I'm getting out there and doing it. But what I love specifically about just like the RunTok community is you've got beginner slower runners like myself, and then you've got these crazy elite like ultra runners. But everybody's just cheering every one of them. Or and maybe not everyone, but at least the content that I get, most people are. And there's also just a lot of, expert runners or very knowledgeable runners that want to share information. I know I've talked to John about gels and stuff, and just like if there's something I'm interested in that I want to know more about, I can search it and find it on there, which is pretty cool. And then even just like making TikTok running videos, honestly, it's just kind of been just like a fun motivation. Like when I'm doing these long runs of like, okay, let's record ourselves at this mile and then this mile. And is it silly? Yes. Have I feel like I've embarrassed myself as people have gone by in their cars? I feel like I'm embarrassed, and they're probably like, what is she doing? She thinks she's some kind of influencer. They probably are thinking that, but I don't know. It's something fun and silly, and why not? Yeah. So that's kind of where all of that comes in, especially because I run with Nora, which also when like I feel like I need a pep talk, I'm like, good job, Nora, keep going. Which, I don't know, just mentally it makes it feel like I'm not just cheering myself on, which is fine to cheer yourself on, but yeah.
I like that. So you decided to run with Nora, and then at what point did John get involved with helping out, and how'd that happen? How'd that go down?
I think it was just honestly a couple weeks in. And John was, I think, sitting in this exact chair, waiting for Joe to finish getting ready and come out. And I don't think I even asked you to train me, John. I think I just genuinely was like, hey, do you know of any resources? And John was like, I love coming up with training schedules. I'd do one for you. I was just thinking he'd be like, here, use the like Couch to 5K app or do this thing. Which honestly, though, I think makes a huge difference because I've tried the different, like, not specifically Couch to 5K, but the like, here's this online training plan that I've come up with and that anybody can do. But to me, there's not any accountability. And because like, one, John, who's a very good friend of mine, I see him most Sunday mornings because him and Joe get together. So he's going to ask me what I'm doing, how it's
That's
going.
Right.
And he's never told me to. Maybe you did, and I just don't remember. But like to send him a screenshot of my runs after the fact, not in a like, okay, show me that you did it to check it off, but in a like, I just want to see how your progress is doing. So like, I think having somebody to truly be accountable to has also helped me. I guess my background when it comes to being athletics was team sports. I played basketball all of my middle school, high school career, volleyball most of it, some other things, which those are all team sports, where running, even if you do track and like the relays, it's still individual, really. And so anyways, I think having a real person that you're accountable to or a group of people that you're accountable to, at least for me, makes a huge difference. Because part of one of the other things that I wanted to do, or reasons that I wanted to do something, and then ultimately running, was just being disciplined. Like, I feel like, again, the team sports, it's very easy for me to be disciplined and be accountable to somebody, but like individual discipline, I feel like I've not been really good at that growing up. I saw my parents start something and not finish it. And so then that kind of trickled into different things with myself of, yeah, we can start guitar lessons for you, but we're not really going to hold you accountable for practicing. And then, whatever. And, oh, no, we can't do this anymore. So, you can't do these lessons. And so then being a mom, I wanted to learn to be disciplined so that I can show Nora how to be a disciplined person. Just things of life. Now, if we try something and it doesn't work out and you gave it your best, that's absolutely fine. But don't just quit because it's hard. And for myself personally, I feel like I can very easily, oh, well, this is hard. I don't want to do this. So it's not, because I'm not accountable to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've been training since April, and the day is literally a week away where you run 7 miles. So like through this time of training from April to July, what are some of the things that you've wrestled with and have seen how far you've come physically and mentally? I would say spiritually, but I'll let you talk on that if you'd like. But we saw injuries, we saw some aching, we saw some mental things go on. Talk about those things and how you overcame.
Yeah. So I feel like it was shortly after you gave me my training plan, then my right ankle started to hurt. And it was like to the point, like I was in tears, like it started to hurt, and out of nowhere. I didn't roll it. I didn't do anything. It was just like, okay, well now this happened. I can't run. Clearly I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm just going to be lazy and I can't do anything, which is stupid. But then John was like, get some KT tape. And then I was like, all right, I should also go to the chiropractor. And oh yeah. And then I had like pulled some muscle here in my neck. Wow. That's what initially started the chiropractor conversation. And which I thought was really weird. Why did I pull something in my neck and upper shoulder if I'm running? Like that just doesn't make sense to me. But right, your spine's all connected. And if you're, getting back into working out, muscles that you haven't moved are compensating for each other. And, so anyways, so working through that. And then actually the last couple of weeks, I've not been running with KT tape and I've not had any issues with my ankles, which has been great. Which, I think it's the tape, but also if you don't see a chiropractor, I highly recommend going to a chiropractor. Does wonders, especially ours, because he's a believer too, and I think that makes a difference. So some of that, and then again, just like the mental piece of, well, I've never run this far. Summer running, oh, it's hot out. I don't want to do this when it's hot. Oh, it's fine if I just miss this one day. But I feel like or I'm not feeling good, so I know this run isn't going to be great. Like, just go out and do it. And on RunTok, I did hear somebody say this, and I was like, oh, this is so true. That first mile lies to you so much. Yeah. Like once you get past that first mile and like your body's warmed up and you're like in it and you have your groove, like you're fine. So most people would say like, don't stop until after you've hit that first mile. But at that point, you've like gotten over that mental, your body's kind of shaken out. Yeah. So that was another thing. I know even just like trying to figure out how to run with a stroller was a struggle. Because I have my freshman and sophomore year, I ran track. So like in the sense of like form and not having your hands like squeezed tight, making sure they're like right here at a 90-degree angle. Like I knew that stuff. So then having to have one hand stationary pushing a stroller and going around turns or going up a hill. Even just the added weight piece, like I mentioned earlier, like just kind of all of that bit, like working through it. I guess that's, I don't know. I feel like that's mental and physical.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm just kind of in it, and it doesn't happen until I've like already started running, but giving the run to God, like that's made a huge difference too. And especially with the mindset of, well, why am I doing this? Well, again, the discipline thing, I want to teach my daughter, discipline, but like, I also want to glorify God in this. Like if I'm going to do this, like let's glorify him through it. Which in turn has also been great because I run a very similar route, or at least the initial start of it. So I've gotten to know a lot of my neighbors. So conversations and running with them, or not running with them, but running by them and waving. So then you kind of get to know people more. That's been pretty cool. Actually, really weird and random. My track coach from freshman and sophomore year lives down the street from me.
Wow.
That was at a completely different school and town than where both of us live now. And I've been seeing him run around too. So that's just been like really funny and just like odd. Like, okay, God, that's odd. Anyways.
I didn't even realize that. I don't know why I forgot. Like, so wait, you grew up in the Quad Cities?
Kind of. So, my parents got divorced when I was like 3 or 4. So with my dad, I claim one town because he lived there basically from the time I was born until I graduated high school. And then with my mom, we lived in Clinton from, I think, 5th grade till my sophomore year, or I'm sorry, my junior year. And then we moved up to the Quad Cities. But I had my older siblings lived in the Quad Cities, and Clinton's like 45 minutes away, I think. So, if you wanted to go in town and go to the mall or whatever, you came to the QC. So I was at least familiar with the area.
Yeah. Clinton, Iowa, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Just for
town.
Yeah. Clinton, Iowa. Wow, I haven't thought about Clinton, Iowa in a while. Okay, so Clinton, Iowa. And what town did your dad move to or live in?
He lived in Delmar, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
It's great. The drive-in that's off 61, like right outside Makokata.
Okay.
If you drive through, you blink, you miss it. There's one blinking light. The Casey's,
Casey's, classic. Yeah, you gotta have the Casey's though. Casey's will take care of you.
Oh, he sure will.
Get the breakfast pizza.
That's what they're known by.
Yeah, dude, for real. You guys remember? Did you ever try their? I don't know if they still do this. They had like a macaroni pizza. Did you ever try that?
I've had macaroni pizza, but not from there.
A lot of cheese.
Pretty good.
But okay, so you're like an Iowa girl then, is that right? Like it was all Iowa?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, I live in Illinois now because of Joe, but that's fine.
And yeah, that's the romantic story. An Illinois boy and an Iowa girl, huh?
Oh yeah.
Come together.
I guess so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so but I wanted to ask about the whole stroller situation. Maybe Drea would want to know this. On my wife being pregnant, she might be running with a stroller. We'll see. So what's like the technique? Like 2 hands, 1 hand, switch hands? Like what do you do?
Yeah, so I try to switch hands. I attempt to keep it even on both sides if I can, right? Just like you would do with lifting. If you're gonna do 5 reps on this side, you're gonna do 5 reps on this side. I tend to always want to lead with my right hand because I'm right-handed. So just kind of my default is to do that. So just kind of like as I'm going around a turn or something, I'm like, okay, switch. So that's what I do. I know John's even mentioned trying to do it with 1 hand. And again, I think some of that, his reasoning was just because I am a slower runner. So it's not like I'm taking these big strides. which might be difficult for Drea just because she's also taller than me. I'm 5'3.5", so I don't have those long legs. So my strides are small anyways. Yeah. But and I did try running initially at the beginning with just like our regular Mockingbird stroller. That was not fun. So it's got like the 4 wheels. And the 2 front wheels, they would like go kind of wonky, and it isn't built for jogging. Whereas like the jogging stroller, it's 1 wheel in the front and 2 in the back. It usually is a lot more lightweight, which is nice because you don't want to be pushing any extra weight than what you have to. Yeah.
That's cool. So. Oh yeah, that's good to know. That's good tips for like moms to be. Yeah.
Moms to be.
You know? Yeah. Dads too. There's a dad stroller runner in my neighborhood. I see him running around and walking around. So.
You should try it, here in the next couple months. Generally.
Yeah. I should go. You know what I should do is I should go up to that guy and say, "Hey, can I give that a go real quick?" No.
How many miles have you put in? How many miles? Oh my gosh.
Keep your baby in there. He'll be fine. He'll be all right.
Yeah. I just trustworthy. It's great.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so weird. Oh man, that's funny. Okay, so you talked about some of your pain points, like a lot. It sounds like you dealt with some different injuries, and it sounds like at this point now you're pretty good. It sounds like, right? Yeah. Was that like some of the main struggles, or was there other things involved too besides just like the physical